Live from Fashion Week, it's We Only Look Thin. I am one of your hosts, Donald Weigel. I am a fitness terminator. You can't stop me. You can't reason with me. Getting fit is what I do. It's all I do.
Wow, and here is the permanently underdressed Catherine Weigel, also at Fashion Week apparently, and I am wearing slippers and jogger pants and no makeup right now. So this is a surprising, fashionable episode of We Only Look Thin.
We flew to Milan for Fashion Week and rented an apartment that looks exactly like ours and a couch that looks exactly like ours and are podcasting from it.
Oh boy, we are underdressed for this delightful episode. I don't know if anyone would call us fashion mavens or fashion on fleekness.
You look at me and you do not think there is a fashion icon right there.
But we're going to talk about it anyway, because you know what?
Yes, we are.
We're not going to make any less money by talking about it. We're not losing money on it, so get ready to dig in. We're talking about clothing.
We're going to talk about clothing, and we're going to talk about dressing well and some, how it relates to weight loss, some fashion-ish tips. Really less about fashion and more about, feeling good, looking good at any size, and about ways to handle our image of ourselves as we're dressing ourselves.
Yeah, but before we get into this this super fashionable episode, we're going to get to the tip of the week.
Tow! Tip of the week to you, darling.
Tip of the week to you, darling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to repeat everything you say because it'll double the length of the episode.
We've even got a catchy title for this tip of the week. It's the swimming pool rules.
Oh, it is the swimming pool.
It's kind of like the Cider House rules, only it's not. I don't remember what the Cider House rules were now. That's actually a movie I did see.
I was in a book club for it and did not read it. So,
but we're nailing the swimming house rules, the swimming pool rule to the side of the dormitory where we're sleeping. And
okay,
isn't that what the Cider House rules were? They nailed the rules to the
don't have sex with Charlize Theron was one of the rules.
That was one of the rules.
Tobey Maguire cannot have sex with her.
Oh.
So we're getting off topic.
Like that rule.
We're talking about whoa, okay. This is an off-topic episode of We Only Look Thin. So the tip of the week is the swimming pool rule. If you grew up in the 70s, you know the swimming pool rule. If your foot touched the water in 29 minutes from when you ate dinner.
I swear when I was a kid, they would say, don't go in the pool for, 14 hours after eating.
It was 30 minutes. I remember.
I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, they used to tell you 2 hours after eating.
No, in my part of New Jersey, in the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah.
Little Dougie Kelvy next door. Had an above ground pool. What are they called? Above ground pool.
Above ground pool.
And we would have a little BBQ in the backyard. We'd be playing with fireflies. And that pool sure did look tantalizing. We had to wait 30 minutes to get in that pool.
Wow.
If our toes touched the pool with under 30 minutes,
you get crippling cramps.
Even looking at the pool, crippling cramps. What does this have to do with weight loss?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
I'll tell you.
We've been rambling about it for years.
Yep. So the 30-minute rule is when you eat something, give yourself 30 minutes before you make your next food or beverage choice.
Now I get it. Now it all becomes clear.
Once I start eating, I want to keep on eating. I want to keep that momentum. And I often, we've heard it before, it takes time for your brain to catch up with your body. So you're eating a snack and you want more snacks. Give yourself 30 minutes. You might find that you're actually already full. And that sort of panic that I get from not having food in my mouth. if I say, whoa, I just say, whoa, mule.
Whoa, mule.
Like Yosemite Sam.
A little Yosemite
when
Sam
I
Bugs
said
Bunny
whoa,
reference.
I mean whoa.
Whoa.
Well, you're wearing a Fitbit right now. You can set a 30-minute timer. Just give yourself a cooling off period before you go for the second helping or after lunch and you want more to eat. give yourself 30 minutes. You can make a sober decision.
Yeah.
Not 29 minutes.
No.
If you make a decision within 29 minutes, you will get terrible, terrible cramps in your side.
Terrible cramps, that's right.
You don't want to be like Dougie Kelvey. No, he was actually awesome. He was my little best friend when I was a kid. Okay, can we talk for a minute about why wouldn't you want your kids swimming? Because then they're all up in your business for 30 minutes, just staring at the pool. What time is it? How many minutes do you got? The
I want those kids getting in the pool while the sandwiches are still in their hands.
There was an episode of The State a bunch of years ago where it was a comedy show, kind of like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, they showed it on MTV back when we were teenagers.
And it was an adult barbecue party, and someone put their toe in the water under 30 minutes, and then they had terrible cramps, and then it ends with people trying to save him, and then they all get cramps, and then everybody at the entire party has cramps. You don't want to be one of those people.
You can probably find it on YouTube somewhere.
It's very funny. It is very funny. But yeah, just give yourself a cooling off.
If it's available on YouTube, I'll put it in the show notes. How about that?
Sounds fantastic. So yeah, give yourself a break. I still have to do this. I have a compulsive eating issue, which is when it's not necessarily binging, but it's just you just want to finish as much of the portion that you have. So I eat on smaller plates. Give myself 30 minutes. If I want to go back for more, there's food everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere.
I sort of think of it as the food snowball effect. It's once I allow myself to have one treat, then I just want all the treats. I have this, I still have struggle all the time with the all or nothing mentality of weight loss. And if I set a rule for myself that I have to wait 30 minutes in between snacks, then I make more sober choices.
Yeah. So that is our tip of the week. The pool rule, or the 30-minute rule.
Tip
Tip
of the week to you, darling.
Tip of the week to you.
I'm making a flourish with my hand as if people can see me.
He did. So now I think we're going to move on to the big topic of the week.
Of clothing. And we are both people who used to weigh significantly more than we do now.
And even as a child, as young as maybe 8-9 years old.
Yeah.
This word is maybe the worst thing that ever existed. Husky.
You used to have to shop in the husky section.
Freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Husky. That's a dog. It's not a person.
I don't think they have those anymore.
They don't, which is very nice. But growing up as a husky kid, it was awful. And I often found that I couldn't wear the clothes that I wanted to wear because they didn't make them in my size. And I could go into deep detail on all of the awful ways clothing impacted me as a kid and how I had to kind of settle for whatever fit at the time because I was a bigger kid.
I mean, and even pretty recently as an adult, oftentimes they would have the big and tall, which I am not the tall part, but was the big part. They would put the big and tall sizes in a separate section. And I feel like it's only been within recent years that they started combining.
Do you know that one of the reasons I didn't go to prom, there were a couple of reasons, but one of the primary reasons I didn't go to prom because I didn't think that there were dresses that were big enough to fit me. I didn't even want to go and try because my friends were like, oh, let's go to the dress section. And none of them fit me. And so I was like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm busy that night. I have piano practice. So it really affected me.
And you've never practiced the piano in your life.
That's the thing. I didn't even have a piano.
Don't even have a piano.
But I think I, first started noticing being overweight when I was in 4th or 5th grade, and I was already 5'7", and people thought I was much older than I was, and I was wearing my mom's clothing when I was in 5th grade, and people were like, "Oh, you've got a matching outfit from your mom," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just wearing a size beep for my mom." But I was very self-conscious about it, and people my grandparents would buy me clothes, and I would, they would be great brands and, very fashionable, but they wouldn't fit me because I was husky. And I kept being husky. Could you imagine going into a place now and just being like, huskies are us?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop saying husky because it is terrible.
Thankfully, we've moved on from that time in our history. Yeah. But I feel like, what the issue that we're sort of dancing around is that it's very difficult as, somebody who was as big as I was. I really kind of hated going clothes shopping because I was confronted by evidence that I was the weight that I was and having to look at clothing sizes. And I used to, do things like hold on to clothes that were that were sizes too small for me that I could no longer fit into, in the thought that it would motivate me to get back into that size. And I realized that just doesn't work.
Well, and two, I think I went up and down the scale so many times that I kept, like Donald, I kept sizes 16 to 24 in my closet, and just sort of like a slide rule of like, oh, well, what size am I now? And, there was at the holidays wearing the larger sizes just because I would grow into them. And it's like they say, if you buy a larger house, you fill it.
Yeah.
If you buy larger pants, you fill it. And I did that for many, many years. And, I think, as sort of the bigger picture, at 300 pounds, I had issues with clothes. At 150 pounds, I still have issues with clothes. And it doesn't suddenly go away just because of the number on the scale. And I used to think all my clothing problems would be solved at a lower weight. Still got problems, but we're going to talk about sort of taking care of yourself at your higher weight, and finding clothes that work for you, and also talking about the lower weights and what we still struggle with and how we cope with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's no perfect fit for everybody. It doesn't matter what Fashion Week says you should be doing. But yeah, so we're gonna talk a little bit about kind of what to do and how to do it. So
I think the number one thing to keep in mind is to try your best to wear clothes for the size that you currently are. And that was always a big one for me. I would I would still try and struggle and squeeze into clothes that were too small for me. And I felt like I was punishing myself, and as long as I was uncomfortable in my clothes, then it was motivation to lose weight. And like, what was I really accomplishing by that? Just making myself look even worse and accentuating the fact that I, needed to lose weight by wearing these tight-fitting clothing.
Well, and I, back in the day, my grandparents, like I said, would buy me, pants and tops. And I actually had gotten so big at one point that I couldn't even button the pants, and would just kind of fold the flaps in to just be able to wear them. And then I would wear like a giant shirt over it. And as a kid, I was embarrassed about it. And now, knowing that not all clothing is going to be the right clothing, and a fabric shouldn't dictate how you feel about yourself. It should be empowering. It should be within budget, and you should have things in your closet that make you feel good. But it is a balance too. Donald and I have talked about this, about you want to be comfortable in the clothes that you're in, but you also don't want to use that as an excuse to not lose weight.
Yeah. Because my clothes are super comfortable on me, so I don't actually need to lose any weight.
Well, and when I started too, there was part of me that was like, wow, I really love this jacket. If I lose more weight, I'm not going to be able to wear it. Like, that's not okay. Yeah. You can get a new jacket. It's not a big deal. But why don't you talk about the dysmorphia you had with your size back at 250 pounds a little bit more? Like you said, you didn't want to face the reality of the size you were, so you didn't want to buy clothes. Like, kind of how did that
I didn't want to go.
you?
I didn't want to go shopping because if I needed to get into a size 40 waist pant or 38 pant, then I had to face the reality. I was, stuffing myself into 36s and being incredibly uncomfortable all day. But realizing that I actually needed a size bigger was too sobering to have to face it. Like, I didn't want, I would avoid the scale, getting on, because I didn't want to know what weight I was, because then maybe I would realize I had to do something about it.
Well, and I remember too, at times you would say like, I don't want to invest in this size because I want to lose weight.
Right.
So I don't want to spend a couple $100s to buy shirts that I'm only going to wear for a few months. And it's like, it's that weird, like, you don't want to confront where you are, and you hope that it will make you want to lose weight. I mean, I did that. I kept, I had like a cashmere sweater. I'll post a video or a picture of it. I had an expensive cashmere sweater that was probably 3 sizes too small for me. And but I could like cinch it and button one little button in the middle. And I was like, this is very slimming on me. And in reality, looking back at the pictures, it was so small on me, but I was just holding on to it because it was expensive and great. It's just get rid of it. It was not worth it.
Yeah. Holding on to clothes that you hope that will fit you in the future, or that not wanting to get clothes that fit you now, are not real ways to lose weight.
Well, and we used to keep bins of clothing.
I kept one of those big plastic tubs in our storage, filled with clothes that were a size that I, used to wear. And then when I actually lost the 100 pounds this time, I lost and went past the bin, and then remembered that I had the bin, and I pulled it out, and I was all excited. I was like, oh, I can wear these clothes. And I was actually smaller than they were. So they had just been sitting in the bin, for no reason.
Well, and I had lost weight at one point and kept a bin of work clothes. And I was like, oh boy, I can fit into these pants again. And then I put them on, and it was like, oh, hello, pleats. How are you doing? In, 1990 called, and they want their pleats back. It was so not attractive. And so we, in this last time journey for both of us, neither of us thought we were going to lose 100 pounds. That was never the goal. It was just to feel better than we felt before. And for Donald, it was to get rid of the diabetes.
Right.
But I always just wore clothes that fit me. I never really had a style per se, because I just felt like I just needed something to cover up. So I never really was like, oh, well, I'm a boho chic, or I'm whatever. It was just I just want pants that cover my hips, and a shirt that I can wear that doesn't tug at my stomach. I didn't really have a style, because I was just trying to just wear anything that fit me. But I think if I could go back now, I think we're going to give you some tips and tricks to sort of things to look for, whatever size you are.
Yeah.
Some ways to kind of accentuate what you have.
So I've already said it, but number one, wear clothes that fit you now. Don't wear things that are too tight because you used to be able to fit into them. But also the flip side of that is, don't hide yourself in baggy, loose clothing. It just makes you look even bigger than you actually are.
Well, and I think, there's so many more resources now than there were 20 years ago when I, was 20 years younger. But knowing
20 years ago, she was 20 years younger.
The math checks out.
Yeah.
But know your body shape. Are you a pear shape, apple shape, rectangle, hourglass, inverted triangle? Not all clothing.
Bendy straw. Is that a thing?
Sure it is.
I don't
it's
know.
New at Milan at Fashion Week.
Yeah.
But knowing your body shape, and then there's an amazing thing called the interweb now, where you can Google, pear shape clothing, fashion trends, and then you can look at what other people are wearing and decide, hey, I really like the way that looks. Hey, an A-line skirt, that definitely would work for me.
Yeah.
Not all fashion trends, not that I followed trends, but not all things are going to work on all people. And that is, spoiler alert, that is still true. I've lost 150 pounds, and there's still stuff that doesn't look good on me.
Yeah, you may read somewhere that, high-waisted somethings are what's in fashion, but if high-waisted somethings don't work for your body type, then don't wear high-waisted somethings.
Well, and I think, too,
I don't know what these somethings are that I keep referring to.
Bikini bottoms, which you don't have to worry about. I don't think you need a high-waisted anything.
I don't know.
But, fashion trends can tell us this is universally attractive on everyone. And then you don't fit into it. And then you feel I'm obviously broken inside. Finding what works for your shape and what works for your style. I do not like pirate sleeves. I feel comfortable in boho, flowy. I'm not, no one's going to mistake me for Stevie Nicks. No. But finding someone that you can emulate.
I was trying to think of one Stevie Nicks song to reference right now, and nothing's coming to me.
Don't do it, because I don't want to listen to Stevie. I almost said Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder or Stevie Nicks. You don't want to follow their fashions.
So finding trends that match your body type. Not everything is going to work on you. Finding things that are simple and functional that fit the body shape that you have right now, and then accessorizing with more on-trend pieces can be a good way to to stay with the times.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a tough one for some people because it involves finances. But I really think it's better to pay a little bit more for something that fits you perfectly than to save, $10, $20 in order to buy something that doesn't really fit you very well. I don't think you're really doing yourself a service by saving that money and then not having clothes that actually fit you properly.
Well, and I'm an underbuyer. I tend I joked with Donald, I'll buy, $100 worth of Starbucks a month and then be like, I can't afford a new bra.
Yeah.
And Don's like, you are a crazy person.
For our entire marriage, she's been talking about how her bras are too expensive.
It's
and I'm
if only I could afford a new bra.
Piece of clothing.
No. So starting with undergarments.
Yeah,
investing in undergarments.
Undergarments that
shapewear.
Fit. Believe it or not, I was reading, when we were doing a little research for this, I was reading about, there are studies that show that the majority of women actually wear bras that don't fit them properly. And, so go out and actually be fit by somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. And I know Nordstrom's has custom fitters who will go and they will measure you in all the places and they will ask you to lift and tuck and bend over and cough and do a bunch of stuff. But it actually works.
I don't think that's Nordstrom you're going to.
No, you're right. No. But they will help you find the right fit. And
is this the Nordstrom bra fitting? Why, yes, it is.
It's a proctologist and
it's got really sinister really fast.
No, but taking the time to invest in that, I have always been very well endowed, even at losing the weight that I have.
Brag much?
Yeah, no, it's not a brag. I would prefer to be the opposite. But actually investing in something that fits you well can help your overall shape. Investing in shapewear. There are many undergarments that slim and smooth. Not that there's any issues with non-slimming and non-smoothing, but if you want clothes to sort of fall off your silhouette well, invest in some shapewear. The Spanx.
Yeah, don't add I'm moving on. Don't add extra bulk to yourself either. And this one may apply a little more to men than women, but don't wear big bulky sweatshirts and bulky sweaters and things like cargo pants that add a whole bunch of pockets to you. And even trying to stay away from super thick fabrics that add bulk to you can really help make your clothes fit better on you.
Well, and two, going back to, going online and finding, plus size clothing over 40 or pear shaped over 40.
Yeah, dressing for your age appropriateness is also a big one.
Well, and I found too, there are, I think I don't dress very maturely. I think I'm known to wear a...
Well, you work from home, so you're all sweatpants these days.
I am. But finding someone online on Instagram or Pinterest, finding styles that really speak to you at your size.
And in 2019, there is somebody out there who's got an Instagram fashion page who looks like you.
Well, there is I Googled, fashion over 40, and there were a lot of very Chico's style,
I don't know what that is, unless we're talking about Chico and the Man.
No, but very I don't know, not my style people, and I felt underdressed and underrepresented.
Underrepresented, yeah.
And then I found a woman on Instagram. I think it's Pixies and Curls or something like that. Found her Instagram feed, and I almost started crying. I'm getting choked up thinking about it.
Aww.
Her style aesthetic. Sorry.
Wow. This is real, everybody. She's really breaking up.
Her a little bit kind of funky and a little bit wearing a NASA t-shirt with a blazer and some cool shoes. And I was like, holy moly, this is what I want to look like. And finding someone who really makes you spark joy, whatever age, whatever. And now I'm actually looking for fashions that kind of emulate her. She's wearing a cool, camouflage jacket, but she's also wearing yellow stripes and
how could you see it if it was camouflage?
I know, right? But finding her and finding someone that I could aspire to dress like and then finding pieces that match that style, it really made me feel good because I am not a like flowy flutter sleeve Stevie Nicks kind of person. So finding someone online that really inspires you and is attainable to you. I mean, we're not talking about, buying, going to Neiman Marcus and buying an $800 blazer, like finding things that are within your budget, mixing Target with another brand or, something that
JCPenney
mix and match. JCPenney has been my friend. But finding
that is no joke. I love a lot of the JCPenney menswear.
But finding someone that you can be inspired by and then slowly finding ways to add pieces that emulate that style has been really helpful. Because like I said, I used to just try to buy whatever fit and I wasn't really going for a trend or a style. I was just like, please let it cover my hips. We were actually joking, Rebecca, a friend and accountability buddy, we were swapping.
Hi, Rebecca.
We were swapping.
I like to think of her as a we only look thin super chum.
She is a super chum. But we were talking about like how we used to use scarves to kind of like, draw attention to our faces and try to hide our flaws. It is not camouflage. It is an accessory.
Doesn't this scarf make me look thin in this picture? Yeah, it makes
me look so much slimmer. But like I would buy and I still do, very plain, monochromatic clothes, and then I would accessorize because that is what I could do. And if you don't want to invest in low quality fashion trends, you can just buy simple classic pieces and then accessorize with jewelry or scarves.
Yeah, and like Catherine was saying earlier, once you figure out what sort of body shape you have, there are many online guides to how to dress properly. Some of the more universal tips that these guides give are to wear darker colors to de-emphasize certain parts of your body. Like if you like your torso but not your bottom half, wear a darker color on the bottom and a lighter color on the top, or vice versa if that's the case, because the lighter color attracts the eye and the darker color de-emphasizes.
Yeah, and finding fabrics that work for your body shape also. I know we talked about undergarments that fit well, but like sort of the George Costanza suit situation where in Seinfeld, George Costanza bought a very expensive suit, very much on sale. And then when he finally bought it, he realized that the fabric swished.
It swished when he walked. It is awesome if you haven't seen it.
And I actually, one of the reasons we came up with this fashion episode is because I actually went to go buy some work slacks. Look, I'm thin, right? I should be able to wear whatever I want.
You look thin.
I do look thin. But I went into Banana Republic and I went into J. Crew and a couple of other stores and nothing fit me right. And I started to feel really defeated about it. And I was like, just keep going, like find the style that's right for you. Found a pair of pants that I thought were really nice, almost bought them. And then I did the swish test. The fabric was no bueno. I was swishing all along. And so I didn't buy them. So finding good quality fabrics that work for you, that are functional. I like more structured cotton because I have, some loose skin situation and some cellulite. Structured fabrics, thin polyesters, thin silk does not work for me. Like it does not make me feel good, doesn't make me feel comfortable. So finding fabrics that work for you. You don't have to just buy everything, buy cheap things to get by. You can buy structured pieces that work for you.
Another sort of universal fashion truth seems to be larger patterns make you look larger and smaller patterns make you look smaller. So avoid things with big giant butterflies on them or big giant flowers, and instead patterns that are small butterflies and small flowers.
As you do.
As you do.
And Donald Weigel is in the movie and TV industry, and there are entire crews of people there to style and tailor the actors.
Yeah, like it drives me crazy all the time. Like there are actors and actresses, all of them. Doesn't matter what shape they are, doesn't matter what size they are. People who are in like Supreme underwear model shape, they have to be fit and tailored for every outfit they wear on the show. Like, they don't just, like, once they measure their sizes,
they're not off the rack.
Yeah.
Nothing is off the rack.
They don't just, like, figure out the size and then, you know, wait till the day of the shoot and put it on them. There's a fitting, and then those clothes are tailored, and then there's another fitting to make sure that everything fits right.
So where this ties into you is that not all clothes on every rack are going to fit you the way you are shaped.
Yeah.
And finding the right shape of clothing, and that falls into, you know, what body type that you have. But I have a smaller waist and larger hips, so I need to buy Curvy Fit. Have I lost 150 pounds and I didn't think I was going to wear Curvy Fit? I did think that. And guess what? I'm still Curvy Fit. Like, I still have the hips that I had before.
Yeah.
They're just smaller. But taking a suit or taking a pair of jeans and having them cinched at the waist if they don't fit right, or shortened if they're too long, really makes a difference.
Yeah, it costs money, and again, everyone is sensitive about money, but buy the clothing that fits the largest part of you and then have the rest of it tailored.
Boom.
Not everybody can afford that, but you know, it's better to just buy a couple of things that fit you really well than to try and buy a lot of things that don't.
Well, and another thing that I had to do, like, I get so tied to the size that I am or the size that I want to be. And we see this with other people too. They're like, there's no way I'm going to buy this in a size 20. Like, that's just not happening. And you're limiting yourself because different designers build clothing for different sizes. I literally have a size 4 skirt. And I also have size 10 slacks. Like,
yeah.
And does it mean...
And they both fit you well.
And they both fit me well. What is the truth? The truth is buying clothes that fit the body that you have right now and not focusing on the number.
Yeah, a lot of it
critical.
is a mental game. Like, you know, Catherine actually brought up a really good trick, which this morning when we were talking about this episode, that I'm going to try moving forward. You know, I would get so focused on buying a particular size of pant that I wouldn't worry about what actually fit me. And so she takes clothes into the dressing room that are different sizes, and then while she's in there, she doesn't look at the size.
Right. I just blindly I close my eyes and I put the clothes on and I don't look at the size. And whatever fits me is the one that I buy.
Whichever one actually fits the best. That's the one she goes with.
And sometimes it's the smaller size and sometimes it's the larger size. I actually bought pants last weekend. I'm 5'7". I wouldn't say that I'm a short per se or petite in any way, but I ended up buying a pair of slacks that were a size larger than I normally wear, and they were a short. And I was like, I'm not going to try on that size in a short.
Yeah.
Like, that's not right. And not shorts like Bermuda shorts, but like shorter length.
Size short.
Right. And did I fit into the smaller size? I did. But the larger size just fell better and was the right fit for me. So not being tied to the size to manage your self-worth, I think, is really important, because not everything is going to, like, I'm not universally a size X. Like,
I know it's scary and it could be horrifying, but actually get a fabric tape measure and measure yourself and write down your measurements, know what they are, and when you go shopping, look for the actual measurements rather than a size.
That's more for guys too, because your inseams and waists and stuff fall more in line. Like, no one sees you in your dress and goes, "Wow, you look like you're such a size 12 today." Like, people go like, "Wow, that's really flattering," or "That really accentuates your hips," or "That really accentuates your cleavage," or whatever. Like, so just finding things that make you feel good and feel comfortable is more important than the size.
And the last sort of tip that I have is actually take time for yourself. Take time to take care of yourself. Take care of your grooming. Actually take time on your hair, your morning routine. Not everybody likes to wear makeup, but actually try and look your best. If using the excuse of I'm overweight and so why should I bother actually just makes things worse. And I know that I always feel better and feel more confident, and confidence is part of the game. It's part of winning the wearing your clothes well game.
Yeah, and when I was a size 24, I felt like the world was out to get me. Like, oh, this doesn't even come in my size.
Yeah.
And like, boy, it must be nice to be this other size. And like, I felt like the world was conspiring against me. And like, I've got to try on 10 pairs of jeans to find the ones that fit. And more recently, I was like, oh, I'm a fit, thin person, and I'm going to go buy, a pair of skinny jeans from whatever. I'm still curvy. I'm still curvy fit. And I'm never going to be like in the junior department buying like the pencil size things.
I, no joke, decided to try on a pair of skinny jeans at the mall just a couple of weeks ago, and then quickly realized that I am a middle-aged man who has no business.
It is a tough look for my guy.
No business trying
I
to
didn't
put
actually
them on.
See him.
Oh no, I wouldn't come out of the dressing room. No,
I'm not gonna come out.
No, that wasn't happening.
But like, I went to a store and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try on jeans, and I was like, oh, I'm sure I'm this size, and they looked terrible on me, and my self-confidence suddenly plummeted. And then it occurred to me, oh, just because I've lost weight doesn't mean everything is going to look universally great on me. I still have a body shape, and I still have, fabrics to contend with. I had to try on 8 pairs of jeans before I found the ones that fit me correctly. When I went to go buy work slacks, I had to try on 10 pairs before I found the one that fit. And it doesn't mean that I'm a good person or a bad person.
No.
It means that, someone made a pair of pants that fit me well, and maybe I need to get them tailored. Maybe I need to get them fitted. Maybe I need a larger size. It doesn't diminish who I am as a person.
Whatever your weight is, your body shape is dependent on many, many factors, most of which are beyond your control. And part of, buying clothes that fit you well and being confident and comfortable in what you're wearing is that the confidence and the being comfortable can lead to other parts of your life. And I say all the time that one of the steps in being able to lose the weight, in being able to take this on, is having confidence in myself that I could do it. And I feel like it's a real key to being able to take weight off and maintain it, is telling yourself that you can and knowing that you're right.
Well, and two, I mean, we could literally go on for hours and hours about fashion because we have a lot to say on it and we can't cover it all. But knowing where you are right now and finding things that make you feel confident, making sure that when you go shopping, that you go early in the day when you're feeling fresh, that you wear clothes that are easy to take on.
And don't go when you're starving.
Don't go when you're starving. Don't go when it's super busy and you're going to be stressed out. Put yourself in the best situation. If you feel uncomfortable shopping with other people, I don't like shopping with other people.
Yeah.
Go by yourself. Go early. Go when you're well hydrated. Wear clothes that are easy to take on and take off, because like that exhaustion you get in the fitting room is a real thing. Buying a few pieces, like I still do this, and I think I got it from my grandmother. If you find a top that fits you and makes you feel confident, buy it in 5 patterns or colors or whatever.
Yeah.
If you I bought 3 pairs of slacks, all the same fit. I bought gray and black and blue. Boom, done.
I found a t-shirt that I love, just a plain t-shirt that I love, a particular brand and a particular size, and I seriously bought 12 of them so that in different colors that I just can kind of rotate through my wardrobe.
Well, and I think women too are expected to have a variety of clothing styles. If you buy something very basic and very neutral, either all black or all gray or all blue, and then just accessorize with more trendy pieces, that
your
can get
bracelets,
you through
your bangles, your
bangles.
necklaces,
Do people wear the bangles?
your hoop earrings.
Oh no! But when I was at my heavier weight, I found a scoop neck top from Eddie Bauer. They had plus sizes. I bought it literally in 10 colors. I wore that with jeans and a scarf, and I would switch out my scarf every day. If all you can do is have one style, do it. Just own what you feel good in. Even at a plus size, the Lane Bryant tops did not fit me the right way. They were always too long. They were sleeveless. I didn't want to wear sleeveless. So I found a 3/4 length sleeve that I liked. So really just knowing who you are and going with what you can afford, going with what you like. Target right now has size small to 3X, all in the same area. You can buy the same shirt in whatever size you need it to be.
Yeah, it's been really great seeing that at Target, all of the different sizes all together.
And online retailers like ModCloth carry up to 3 or 4X, which is huge. Like 20 years ago, that was not an option for me. Like I was the kid that couldn't, wear anything. But there's eShakti, box services, like clothing box services like Stitch Fix, Daya, Gwenny, Adore Me, Style Logic. All of those have fashionable plus size clothing, and you can mix and match and figure out what works for you. And it's okay. Like dress for the job you want. You want the job of being,
being a thin person.
Well,
No.
not like I would joke actually that like if there was a thin person wearing, like really baggy sweatpants in line at the grocery store, I'd be like, if I was ever that size, I would dress well. Like they could wear whatever they want and they look like they're wearing a garbage bag. Like you always have the opportunity to kick it up a notch and just, invest in yourself and not look schlubby. Like maybe we would have looked schlubby back then because we were not confident in ourselves. And it's still a work in progress. Like we're still working on ourselves.
Yes, we definitely are.
We are.
All right, I think it's now time to move on to the product of the week.
Pow!
Pow, everybody.
Would you say it's a super product?
I would say it's a super
This is all
product.
Donald. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute and give it over to Donald because he has a super idea for you.
Yes, the super product is soup, in fact.
It's soup. No, it's actually soup.
No, it's actually soup. Specifically, I found relatively recently, Campbell's has come out with these, they're called Well Yes with an exclamation point. So it's like, well, yes! Sippable soups. They're in a microwavable container. Takes 1 minute to heat them up, and they come in some delightful flavors. They're between 130 and 170 calories each, depending on which flavors you get. I particularly like the sweet corn and roasted poblano one. It's a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet. And I like the fact that it is shelf stable, so I can carry it with me wherever, out on set or whatever. I've not actually done this, but if I was really desperate, I could probably just, pop open the can and drink it without even having to heat it. But it takes 60 seconds to heat it up, and
it's too long. I can't wait that long.
It's pretty filling. It's pretty low calorie, and some of the flavors are sweet corn and poblano that I mentioned, tomato and sweet basil, roasted pepper and tomato, butternut squash, and sweet potato. And then they have a harvest corn and ginger one. And I haven't tried the sweet potato one because I don't like sweet potatoes, but the other ones are quite tasty, I think. And they're filling and easy to do on the go and super quick.
Yeah, and we've talked too about the duration of enjoyment of something, having a hot beverage or a hot soup.
Yeah.
You can't guzzle it down because it's hot.
Right.
It's hot. And our friend Mary actually the other day talked about being in her car, and she on her commute home 40 minutes, she would have a Cliff Bar or a protein bar. She's like, it would be gone in 30 seconds.
Right.
And your brain doesn't have time to catch up. So going back to the 30 minutes in the pool rule, if you're sipping on a delicious, shelf-stable, hot beverage as you're driving home with a little lid on it, you can just sip it away. You can sip away your cares. So
and that's a tip within a product of the week.
It is.
Yeah.
So anyway, but she switched over to having celery instead of her Cliff Bar because it took longer for her to eat. So the duration, remember what was it? The duration of mastication leads to satiation.
Whoa. So much rhyming.
Yes. So yeah, soup. So find something that is shelf stable, something that is easy to make.
Yeah, and there are probably other brands out there, but the Campbell's Well Yes is what I've taken to.
Well, yes.
Well, yes. Exactly.
Yeah, so I think we have fixed the entire fashion industry problem.
We sure have.
We sure have. We've told you a little bit about what keeps us going and ticking, and that we still have to find things that fit us and suit us well. So So now you know about that. So tell us about your fashion tips
reach
and
out
tricks.
to us. You can find us at weonlylookthin.com.
We do not know everything. Find us on Instagram at weonlylookthin. I will try to find a picture of my ill-fitting sweater that I wore that was cinched, my expensive cashmere that I had to say bye-bye to.
That's a good idea. If you'd like to email us, you can do so at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
You can find us on Facebook at We Only Look Thin, Twitter.
You can find us on Twitter at We Only Look Thin.
Thank you for all of your wonderful reviews, both on Facebook, on Stitcher, on the what is the i thing called?
iTunes.
iTunes. The apples.
The i thing.
I don't know. iPair.
There are tunes on there, and it starts with an I, but I don't know what it's called.
So thank you all for listening and being a part of this.
Yeah, and it really helps us out if you could rate and review us really quickly on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it. So the next time you're walking down the runway in Milan during Fashion Week, just remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.